Alright, so in this run I decided to play Ulm. One thing to note is that on the polls I launched my channel, I think I remember Ulm winning some of them a long time ago, and I just never ended up making a video on it, so here's your video. Maybe a little bit, like, 2 months late, but here's the video. Anyway, Ulm can't form Bavaria from my memory, but I did go for the region of Bavaria initially when I was trying to conquer the lands that Ulm has claims over, and I do pretty good so far. I'm mostly consolidating southern Germany, not Venice, Austria is my ally at this point, and there's some action going over in Bohemia and Western Europe. France is invading Burgundy. I'm trying to claim some more stuff. France is now consolidated, basically. And Czechia is banished to Saxony. So that's a pretty interesting turn of events by 1470 in game. Anyway, I annexed some smaller German states like the Palatinate, and some along the Rhine too, because at this point in the game, I'm mildly concerned about the French trying to expand into the Rhine. I don't really want that. So I decided to go for modern borders. The French player is a bit snarky on the comments at this point, which is pretty average for a French player. But other than that, Florence and Muscovy from my memory were viewers, so that's shout out to them, I suppose. But anyway, I'm trying to get to the North Sea at this point, mostly to just try and cut France off. Oh yeah, also, quick side note, Hamburg, I think they're trying to do an exile run here, so I just got the city basically for free. So that's cool, I suppose, but an issue I do have is that I haven't cored that much. So, yeah, take of that what you will, if you want. Anyway, I go ahead and annex Cleves and Colne. I didn't know at the time that Colne, or Cologne, I guess, if you want to call it that, had some more provinces inland in Germany. So that stays like that for a little while longer. But my core map is still not that great. I do have some ambitions with Saxony at this point, but the core map isn't that great. I go into Sweden for rival war, and I note that France has some rebels over in the Italy region. Regardless, Sweden is not doing that great at this point. I mean, it is AI, but it's getting invaded, and the invasion's going pretty well at this point. Anyway, I take over some more areas of Germany, including some parts of the fort and such. And I took over Stettin because at the time I thought it'd make it a lot easier to claim stuff, but at the end of the day, it's only one province. It's not that important. But I do conquer some more of Western Germany. So at this point in the game, it sort of looked like West Germany, circa 1960. But anyway, I do have a goal to go for Lubeck at this point, considering my economy is doing mediocre. But first, France decides to invade, so there's that. I suppose you just want some action. But I like to get called in like Austria, Britain, Florence, Russia. I might be missing one, but a lot of allies got called in. So that's pretty cool. France got walloped within like 2 or 3 years, so he probably could have kept going and sacked his dev, but that's not really. It's kind of rude for a player to just sack a player's dev like that. But at the same time, if you're in a similar situation, it's fine if you do that. I don't mind that much. It's a pretty decent strat. You're looking for like domination, that kind of stuff. But this game, I wasn't that aggressive, other than against AIs, basically. I'm not really too aggressive of a player, unless I'm playing like very small countries in like the Middle East. But regardless, Saxony is almost entirely mine at this point. But I am running low on political power, so that's something to note on. I do also get amber courses. I probably butchered that pronunciation so badly. But I got them pretty late, so don't expect that to happen like anytime soon. But regardless, I go into Volgast, and I annex it, basically. And I plan on going to Brandenburg too, and consolidating modern Germany. Which is pretty good for Ulm, I'd say. And I actually conquer Saxony properly at this point. Right there. Anyway, I go ahead and try and get the rest of Germany. But I do also vassalize Denmark a little bit later, but not now. Not now. I do form Germany first, I think. But before that, you can have like a nice Ulm picture. That screenshot. Anyway, Germany comes with its own claims, so that's pretty convenient for my ambitions to go into Denmark. And into Poland also, just to fix the eastern border. We end up carving up Poland in this game roughly along 1910 partition lines. Austria also makes a special guest appearance, so that's cool. But he opens up Krakow, and I'm able to get the war score to get the lands I wanted. Now, at this point, all that's left is Schleswig, which is being actively sieged right now, Eastern Prussia, and Alsace-Lorraine for proper borders. But anyway, Denmark is now vassalized, so if I do anything silly like forgetting to upgrade technology, there we go. Anyway, I already have claims on this area, so it's a lot easier for me to just walk in and just take it in Eastern Prussia. I did make a point of trying to claim the forts, though, because if you have rebels, I don't think you want to be dealing with forts that much. But my corner map is not doing that hot at this point in the game. But still, I do have one more plan for expansion. Other than Colonial, I do get a little colony, like almost around here. But I do invade France. France is... it's okay, I suppose. It's not doing that great in this point in the game. But Britain invades France when it's in AFK state, and then France comes back when I'm at war, so it's a little bit interesting. Anyway, I have to go AFK for a little bit of time, and it's already over. And all that's left of my uncored land at this point is roughly Hanover, which is pretty good progress, I'd say. Although the culture map looks a little bit weird. Anyway, Spain sends an ally quest. I think I declined it because it's just a lowers of prestige and it's just far away. Anyway, I said no because I thought France would be a player, like actually there, but he wasn't. So Spain just mops the floor with France, and I mobilized an army to try and see some lands from France as well. I did invade it like an AI, and just assume it wouldn't be able to like do much of anything before I start a separate war, so I declared war while Spain was still invading. But it didn't really matter at the end of the day. France is still falling here. I end up taking Luxembourg, the Netherlands, and Alsace-Lorraine, which is pretty much all I wanted, other than like some areas of Belgium maybe. And that's really about it. And this time I actually had enough political power to properly core almost all of it. And not all of it. But anyway, I had to go AFK for a very brief amount of time there, but I'm back. I expanded the colony into Arkansas because I figured I might as well. It does make the German subculture map a little bit weird, but it's okay. Anyway, one thing to note is that I did have claims on Austria at this point, but I, again, didn't really have any ambitions on Austria, because it's my ally, I don't really do that. I mean, sometimes I do, but not really. Anyway, Britain, I think, here is trying to invade France again, which is just stereotypical British behavior, I suppose. But they're in Belgium right now. And I was just trying to develop Germany a little bit, because the dev map looks pretty bad. Other than Ulm, I guess, but that's sort of expected for me playing Ulm. Anyway, Britain took Egypt, I guess, for historical accuracy. I don't know. There's not really much of a point to take Egypt before 1700. And he took it before 1700, so I don't know. Anyway, France is currently being occupied heavily. And I did give Britain back some land after the first French War, but now he just releases some parts of France, so it's like that now. But in general, I'd say this was a pretty decent run for Ulm. We are approaching the end of the video. But Austria threatened Switzerland with like a 60k army or something. I don't really know why that was a thing he did. But regardless, that's the video. I hope you guys liked it, and see ya.